Hello, it's the mom, Mary, from A Girl, a Book, and a Mom. And this is my second attempt at my December wrap up. The last time, I don't know what happened, but I was a chipmunk. Um, so let's get to it. I finished the Bookless Queens uh 2020 reading challenge, and I'm really kind of pleased with myself about that. Um, yeah, so the final three books that I the final four books that I read are Atomic Habits. Okay, you got to see this. Woo, shiny, shiny. Yeah, bling. It's it's not just the bright lights. This is all in like gold. So, woo, fancy. So, Atomic Habits is it reminds me of Charles Duhigg's The Power of Habit, which is phenomenal. Atomic Habits, I will probably reread. I'm glad I bought it. It's all about little tiny ways, like atoms, little tiny ways to change and how to make habits sustainable. It's really, really good, and I very much enjoyed it. I'll probably read it again and highlight or annotate because I really enjoyed this book. So this was 4 stars for me, and an excellent book for December. The next, the next book I read was Gone with the Wind, and that's a 50-hour audiobook. So there was a lot of driving back and forth, listening to Scarlett O'Hara and Rhett Butler, and um, the prompt it covers is reread a childhood favorite, and I loved this book. I read this book probably every year of middle school and high school. I just thought it was a sweeping romance, and that Rhett Butler was the dashing hero, and Scarlett O'Hara, while conniving, uh, and shall we say a bit of a bitch, was like, oh, ah. Yeah, no, it apparently isn't like that at all. Apparently I am, well, I should have paid more attention in history class and less time reading Gone with the Wind, because let's first just say that's not how slavery went. Mammy went from Scarlett's grandmother to Scarlett's mother to Scarlett's children because she owned her. It wasn't because Mammy was part of the family. I don't think if Mammy wanted to leave, she could. So that was just a misrepresentation. We'll just throw that out there. And then Scarlett, we all knew that Scarlett was conniving, and God, I don't know why her sister ever talked to her again. I don't know why anybody talked to her again. Conniving, hateful, spiteful. We all knew that. Knew all of that. Uh, but she's stupid. Like, people are talking to her and she's like, "Oh, I just don't have any clue what they're talking about." And what? But then she's supposed to be really good at adding and like running a business. What? Uh, and then let's get to Rhett, shall we? Rhett, who I thought was the dashing, handsome guy who is the blockade runner. Yet no, he's an ass. He's a total ass. And their marriage was like two people who loved each other and they just wouldn't admit it to each other. And it was just awful to read about, especially if you've been married. Um, or if you've been married and had it end. And they, uh, and yeah. So it used to be my favorite book. That and Dracula. Read both of them every year. I would read Dracula again. I am never going to read Gone with the Wind again. I lent my movie to somebody. That's hardcore. And I don't want it back. If you have my movie, keep it. Okay, so I gave it 4 stars, but that probably was just nostalgia and because I liked Melly. And I have to say that the writing, even even though the author clearly had no respect for people of color, uh, women, Catholics, Jews, and an assortment of people, um, the character development of Scarlet uh, was impressive. And if you've ever been to a point where you're just a little poorer than you need to be, and you're just scraping by to keep your head above water, the bit where she says her famous "and God is my witness, I'll never go hungry again." Yeah, that was well written. Uh, but hateful people, like the writing was good, everything else sucked except for Melly and poor Melly. Anyway, so that was Gone with the Wind. I gave it a 4 because of nostalgia. And not nostalgia for Annabelle himself, nostalgia for my youth that I God read this read this book so much. I don't know what got into me. Okay, so let's move on to a happier subject. Nomad. This covers the prompt, a nonfiction topic you love. I should also mention here, I'm going to throw some YouTube love. Trent and Allie are people who lived in a van that I've been following them for a couple years, and they converted this Dodge ProMaster and uh, traveled around South America and Central America, and they were all the way in Argentina when COVID hit, and yeah, and now they're building a house in Utah because they made it back to the United States. But I will link them in my description. But I love watching them, and their van has fascinated me for a long time. And yeah, and so I've been fascinated with the idea of living in a van and just going. I think that would be so amazing. Unfortunately, I'm a little tied down here to rural Ohio. Uh, Tied down is kind of like contractually obligated to stay here for 9 more years. And it would be hard to teach high school out of a van. So my sister Amy, thank you, Amy, uh, gave me this book for Christmas last year, and it includes a whole bunch of people who are living in vans and trailers and little tiny teardrop uh, campers and school buses and boats and tiny homes. And it's really just really cool that they tell you about the people, and some people are off the grid and some people are really kind of luxe doing it. But and then after the whole bunch of stories about the people, then there's like different storage solutions and how to build a bathroom, and there's a list of resources in the back. So this was an excellent book. When I am finally ready or free from rural Ohio, then I might do this. And yeah, the people who are doing van life on YouTube, gosh, they're all interesting to watch. So there you go, 3.5 stars. Then the last one of the prompts that I did is "You Are a Badass" by Jen Sincero, and this is my favorite book. It's a much better book to have a favorite book as than Gone with the Wind. But anyway, I digress. "You Are a Badass" deals with, okay, bear with me. It's a physics thing, and I want to attribute this to Tycho Brahe, but that could be just because I liked him because he had like a metal nose. It could be Tesla because he did everything. I'm not sure, who came up with this idea, but it's some physics dude. Uh, that if you're vibrating here, you'll attract things at the same vibration, and that everything in the world is operating at its own vibration. So if you're down here going, life sucks. I'm stuck in Ohio for the next 9 years. That's the life you're going to attract. I'm a teacher. I have no rights. Okay, maybe not I have no rights, but it would be more like, oh, life sucks. Oh, your husband left you and you're stuck in Ohio. And oh, let's slap you with cancer. Okay? Whereas if you want the life up here, I'm a well paid executive with my own yacht. You have to operate at that frequency. Um, it, I love this book so much, and I'm doing a terrible job of explaining it. But it's all about how to be a badass, and it talks a lot about how you need to love yourself and connect with your higher power. And I just love this book so much, and she's like totally like wham to the point. Um, and yeah, it's an awesome book. So 5 stars for You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Put it up here somewhere. And that's the end of the 52-week Book List Queen reading challenge. I'll put them up there. Let's see if you can see them. Look at all those. Yeah. So then I had some time to kill. So I picked up, I think I picked this one up first. Agatha Christie, and Then There Were None. This was previously published as 10 Little Indians. I'm having trouble with the light. And that's my dog. Okay, Agatha Christie, And Then There Were None. This is like the second book this month. So this and You Are a Badass that, oh my gosh, you have to pick up, because and apparently I'm really late to the party. So you've probably already read this one, but basically 10 people are on an island and one by one they get killed off. I had no idea who did all the killing until I read the epilogue. Like, the book ended and I was like, who did it? Like, totally baffled. And then I read the epilogue and that made a lot more sense. So good. Like, way good. Sorry about the noise. Pepper keeps turning around in her crate. But yes, I think there is a movie. There might be a movie coming out. If there isn't already one, I might have to see it because this book. she's just turning around. All right. Then I picked up How Not to Die Alone, which suited my mood. It's a novel. It may have suited my mood, but it's a novel, not a self-help book about being alone. You know, the Christmas season is hard on all of us. Oh, good, she laid down. So How Not to Die Alone. Charming book. Basically, there's this guy, Andrew. Okay, do they ever stick stickers on your... How do you get these stickers off without ripping the very nice book? Why do they do this? I mean, I ordered this one. I didn't pick it up at a store. Anyway, sorry. Okay, so How Not to Die Alone. It's about this guy, Andrew, who works for the government, and he goes in to places like flats where an elderly person has died. Not always an elderly, somebody has died. And nobody seems to notice until, like, I don't know, the gas company calls and is like, hey, we're shutting off your power. or the smell gets to a neighbor or something. So these are people who die alone. And so Andrew's job is to investigate and see if there's money to pay for a funeral or if there's a next of kin that could be contacted. It's really, really interesting. It's yeah. But so Andrew is a little bit socially awkward and it's he's got a made up family and he's trying to figure out how not to die alone. And it is an excellent, excellent book. I really, really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars and it was just really, really cute. I liked it a lot. Finally, we get to the last book I read, which is this lighting. Oh, look, I'm in the dark. Dear committee members, it's you can't read that. There we go. But then I'm in the dark. Okay, dear committee members, it's basically the story of this English professor at some liberal arts Midwest university, as told through his letters of recommendation for his students or that his colleagues need. It's hilarious. It's all in the form of letters. So yeah, like they all start out with the date and like the heading there, and they're all signed, and it's hilarious. It is really, there we go. It's really funny, and it really, I think anybody who works in academia who has spent a lot of time in academia, like grad students would probably enjoy this one. Probably more grad school students who go to campus than grad students who are doing it online, like myself. But certainly if you work at a university, even if you don't work at a university, but you have to write a lot of letters of recommendation, uh, it's hilarious. It's a really fun little book. Didn't take me much time at all, like a day, maybe 2. But it was cute. I recommend it. It was 3 stars. See, if I put it right in front of my face, it looks good. Okay, 3 stars. So, yeah. And I finished my last class. I got an A in it. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So a 3.87 going on right now. And I only have 2 more classes and then I'm done. And those start on the 11th. So soon. But yay. Anyway, I hope you had a really good holiday break. What are you reading? Suggestions for what I should read next? I will be doing the 2021 not Goodreads, Booklist Queen reading challenge, but I also am going to try to read more about race relations, the struggles that people of color have, maybe a little more feminism, try and be more aware of the world. But yeah, that's it. Just grooving along. Hope you're doing well. Let me know. Let me know how to get these stupid stickers off if you know. And what are you reading? Okay. Have a great day. Happy reading.